ADP out with its preliminary jobs data. I want to get straight over to Steve Leisman, who's got the details. Steve.
Yeah, not a good one, Andrew. This is down 11,000. The 4-week moving average of private sector job creation in the ADP preliminary report down 11,000 on average over the 4 weeks. So that would equate to a month-on-month change of minus almost 45,000. And just to explain, first of all, in the middle of the shutdown, we're trying to bring viewers every single bit of alternative data we have. ADP is something we follow closely. They've begun putting out 3 times a month a lagging by 2 weeks. So this is for the week ending October 25th. Index of average weekly job growth over the 4-week period. That is down by 11,000. And somewhat in contrast to the month-on-month that we got last week, which was plus 42,000. So it does suggest some weakening as the month of October went on compared to what they had from September to October. Remember, this is a weekly index that comes out 3 times a month. And it's just really looking for what is the right level of job growth here. Separately, guys, the NFIB came out with their small business optimism index. It fell 0.6 to 98.2, still above the long-run average, but the lowest since April. Plans to increase hiring fell by 1 point to 15%. Plans to invest, that's up pretty good. I wonder if small businesses figuring out they have this new expensing up. That was up 2 points. But here's the interesting move here. Trouble with labor quality up by 9 points. We've never seen anything like that. That's 27%. It's the highest since the pandemic. Unfilled job openings were unchanged, the lowest since the pandemic. So we have this very funny dynamic down here where they're not really hiring, but they can't find the people they want. Oliver Allen at Pantheon says the numbers bear watching and could indicate trouble at some businesses finding workers due to the new immigration and deportation policies, even while the other parts of the job market remain okay. Overall, guys, the data consistent with low fire, low hire economy that we're finding in all this alternative data now. Guys?
Okay. Steve, when do you think we're actually going to get some real numbers, by the way? I mean, I don't want to say that these are not real numbers. When do you think we're going to be able to compare all of this to what might be described as the government numbers?
So we will hopefully, when the shutdown ends, it'll be several days. They should be able to give us the September report. Whether or not, and that's jobs, whether or not they were, and they probably have CPI from that. I'm guessing they gathered the data in the month of September before the shutdown. So we might get a September inflation and jobs report several days after the shutdown ends. October may end up being a black hole. I don't know if they either were able to collect the data or they can go back and get the data in the past. I don't know if that's the case. If the shutdown ends, just double checking what day we are today. It's the 11th. Tomorrow, this is the week of the reference period. They should be able, if they can come back in the next several days, to cobble together a November jobs report for December, as well as gather the CPI data. Yeah, so it'll still be a little bit, Andrew, is the answer.
The old numbers, though, or the numbers that we're waiting for, A, are going to be outdated, and B, in some cases, the way they pulled these numbers, they ask people to remember what they were doing 8 weeks ago or something. It seems like these numbers will be suspect. Not to mention, I don't know how the jobs report will look at any of the government employees who weren't working during that period. I don't know how that gets counted. It feels like you're going to get a bunch of kind of garbagey numbers.
Yeah, and they were so accurate and not subject to revision before the government shutdown. I like calling them the real numbers. That's a real stretch. Maybe we should call them the government numbers. Well, it's the best we got, though.
Just to be clear, Joe, Andrew asked me when we would get the numbers. He didn't ask me when we get either the accurate numbers or the contemporary numbers.
The real, I was kidding because you said the real numbers. We need quotation mark. We need real. You know.
Well, that's going to be the issue.
Well, you know, here's the thing. You know, you're sitting there playing your 8-track cassette, and somebody comes along with a cassette tape, and that's a little better. And then somebody comes along with a CD, and we may end up in ex post this shutdown feeling like some of this alternative data is giving us a better feel on a contemporary basis. We may advance technologically here with some of this data. And that's why I think Andrew's question was important, because what we want to know now, the government is the ultimate final arbiter of what actually happened over a period of time. So we're going to go back, Andrew. We'll spend some time doing regressions and weird stuff that economists do. And they're going to sort of see, well, which ones did the best job of telling us what was going on at the time? Did they even come close to keeping the idea? I kind of think of the alternative data keeping us within the guardrails of the road, but perhaps not in the right lane. I think the feeling at the Fed was, hey, all this alternative data is at least telling us that the job market is not falling off a cliff. It's telling us that CPI is not surging, but it remains high. Just real quick, Becky, on some of the data, the September data, they have that data, so they don't have to go back and ask people what happened.
Right.
It's the October stuff that I think you're mentioning. If they try to do that and go back and try to recreate the October numbers.
Right. We'll see. Maybe you're right. Maybe we like this other data better.
I definitely am not going to let it go. I'm going to hold on to it for a while, and see how it helps us get a jump on this. This preliminary ADP data could be helpful. And there's, we have this alt data, cnbc.com/alt data, where we show people all the data that we've been looking at, 10 or 11 or 12. It's harder. I'll tell you that. It's harder, but it's maybe more fruitful in terms of knowing what's going on with the economy on a contemporary basis.